Good morning, mountain lions. I brought a special guest, my snory girl, Ruby, to say hi. Hey, mountain lions. She's the best. She's just hanging out with me. So I thought she'd say hi. All right, yesterday I had the question for response 11 that was all about being teased because Bright Bill was being teased because of his mom. And it reminded me, and I don't know about you guys, if you were thinking when we read with Miss Greenglass in our buddy class about those ouch moments, it kind of reminded me of that, right? Because you guys had such good responses for how do you respond if somebody's being teased and treated in a way that you don't like or that you don't stand for, or you're being teased. So, great job with that. We're going to get started with chapter 43, The Gosling Takes Off. It must be hard to have a robot for a mother. I think the hardest part for Bright Bill was all the mystery that surrounded Roz. Where had she come from? What was it like to be a robot? Would she always be there for him? These questions filled the Gosling's mind, and his feelings for his mother swung between love and confusion and anger. I'm sure many of you know what that's like. Roz could sense that Bright Bill was struggling, and so she spent a lot of time talking with him about families and geese and robots. There are other robots on the island, said the Gosling during one of their talks. He'd been sitting beside his mother in the garden, but now stood and faced her. Yes, there are others on the island, said Roz, but they are inoperative. So inoperatives, they are not in operation, so they're not up and functioning. Inoperative? For a robot, being inoperative is like being dead. Where are the dead robots? They're on the northern shore. I want to see them. I don't think it's a good idea. Why not? You're still a Gosling. You are too young to see them. I will take you to see them when you're older. Mama, I'm not a Gosling anymore, Bright Bill puffed out his chest. I'm already 4 months old. I'm sorry, said Roz, but you cannot go. Bright Bill stomped around the garden and squawked, This isn't fair. I promise I will take you to see them when you're older, said the robot. But I want to go now. Please calm down, said his mother. You can't even fly. You can't even fly. I could take off and you wouldn't be able to stop me, said Bright Bill. Roz stood, and her long shadow fell across her son. The Gosling could feel his emotions swinging wildly, and for a moment he was actually afraid of his own mom. Without thinking, he sprinted toward the pond, beat his wings, and he flew away. I don't know about you, but I'd be in big trouble with my mama if I did that. Chapter 44, The Runaway. Your son will be fine, said Loudwing. You know how they are at this age. I do not know, said Roz. Please tell me, how are they at this age? Oh, right. Well, Bright Bill is growing up fast. It's only natural for adolescent Goslings to be a little moody. He just needs to be alone for a while. You've raised a wonderful son. I know he'll come home soon. Try not to worry. But Roz did worry. At least she worried as much as a robot is capable of. Bright Bill had never run away or flown away, and suddenly Roz was computing all the things that could go wrong. A violent storm, a broken wing, a predator. She had to find her son before something bad happened. There was only one place Bright Bill could have gone. Where do you guys think that was? Where did she say not to go? This also kind of reminds me, I'm just going to take a pause for a second, in The Lion King, when Simba's dad is like, there's one place you must not go. And where does he go? No spoilers. The robot gravesite. So Roz galloped northward. She leaped over rocks and ducked under branches and charged through meadows without ever slowing her pace. She raced all the way across the island until she finally stepped onto the sea cliffs above the gravesite. And there was Bright Bill, perched on the edge, looking at the robot parts scattered on the shore below. His eyes were wet. Don't be angry, he said, as his mother walked over. I am not angry, but you should not have flown off like that. You could have gotten hurt, or worse. I was worried sick. I'm sorry, Mama, said Bright Bill. It is okay, said Roz. It is only natural for Goslings your age to be a little moody.
Mama, I need to understand what you are, and I think it might help to see those robots. You are right, it might help. Why are you not down there? I was about to go, said Brightbill, but I got nervous. I want you to go with me. Let us go down there, said Roz, together. Chapter 45, The Dead Robots. Now remember I talked about this yesterday. The robots in their gravesite, they're not really dead, right? Robots aren't actually ever living. So this is just robots who are inoperative. They never got their button turned to be on, like Roz's. So when they say the dead robots, it's not in the same way that you're thinking, like with animals or humans or anything like that. So nothing to fear. The dead robots. The Gosling floated on the breeze beside his mother as she climbed down the cliffside. Down they went, past ledges and seagulls and tough little trees, until they were standing on the rocky shore with the cliffs looming behind them. The gravesite had changed. Roz's crate was gone, lost to weather or waves. Some of the robot parts were gone, too. Other parts were gritty with sand, or were tangled in seaweed, or were inhabited by small, scuttling creatures. One smashed torso still had a head and legs attached. Roz and Brightbill huddled around the corpse and studied the mess of tubes spilling out. This thing used to look like you, said Brightbill. Yes, we are the same type of robot, said Roz. And now this robot is dead? In a way. Will you ever die, Mama? I think so. Will I die? All living things die eventually. The Gosling's face scrunched with worry. Brightbill, you are going to live a long, happy life. Roz laid a hand on her son's back. You should not worry about such things. The Gosling's face relaxed, and then he pointed to a small, round shape on the back of the dead robot's head. What's that? He said. Roz leaned in closer. That is a button, which is a knob on a piece of machinery that can be pressed to operate. Brightbill began pressing the button. Click, click, click. Nothing is happening, he said, probably because the robot is dead. Click, click, click. Mama, do you have a button? Brightbill watched as his mother's head turned all the way around, and a small button came into view. You've got one, he said. I've never noticed before. Neither did I, said the robot. The Gosling giggled. Oh, Mama, you have so much to learn. Roz reached for the button on her head, but her hand automatically stopped before she could touch it. She tried with the other hand, but it automatically stopped as well. It seems I cannot press the button, she said. Would you like to try? What will happen? Asked Brightbill. I think that I will shut down, but I think you could simply press the button and I'll restart again. You think? Squawked Brightbill. What if you're wrong? What if you wake up different? What if you never wake up? Mama, I don't want to shut you down. Roz turned her head back around and saw that Brightbill's face was once again scrunched with worry. She knelt behind him and said, Of course you don't have to shut me down. I'm sorry if I scared you. Are you okay? I'm okay. Brightbill sniffled and wiped his eyes, and then he heard splashing. Otters were playing in the ocean. He had never seen otters before. He stared as they swam and dove and sloshed with one another. They seemed to be having a ridiculous amount of fun. And suddenly the Gosling was smiling again. Hello, my name is Brightbill, he shouted over the waves, and this is my mama. Her name is Roz. The last time those otters had seen Roz, they thought she was some kind of monster. But since then, they'd heard about how remarkably friendly she was, and that she even adopted an orphaned Gosling. And so the otters smiled at Roz and Brightbill, and they swam straight over and splashed onto the rocks. Hello there, said the biggest otter. Nice to meet you both. Actually, Roz, we've met once before, but you might not remember. My name's Shelley. I do remember you, said the robot, but I am glad to learn your name, Shelley. You know each other, said the Gosling. These otters were the first animals I ever met, said Roz. They were also the first animals who ran away from me. Yeah, sorry about that, said Shelley and the other otters as they sniffed the robot's legs. You know, Brightbill, when we first saw your mom, she was packed in a box and surrounded by soft, squishy stuff. Brightbill's brow furrowed. You wouldn't believe how small she looked, all folded up in there. His nose sniffled. We thought she wasn't alive, but when we reached in the box, she came to life and climbed out looking like the sparkling monster. Brightbill's eyes welled up with tears. Are you okay? Roz whispered in his ear. I think I learned enough about robots today. he whispered back. I am sorry, Otter, said Roz, but we really must be going. I hope I didn't upset your little guy, said Shelley. I thought he'd like to hear about how we first met. Right, Bill, we'll be fine, said Roz, using a friendly voice, but we've had a busy day and need to get home. It was nice to see you. Roz turned, and with long strides, she carried her son from the gravesite over the base of the sea cliffs. Would you like to sit on my shoulders as I climb? Asked Roz. I feel like flying, said the Gosling. I'll meet you at the top. Brightbill flapped his wings and disappeared into the sky. Roz began scaling the wall. Up she went, expertly negotiating rocky columns and ledges, until she hoisted herself onto the cliff top, where 2 young bears were waiting. Dun, dun, dun. Chapter 46, The Fight. Hello, bears. My name is Roz. Oh, we know who you are, said the sister bear. Her voice dripped with sarcasm. We're very happy to see you again. Yeah, we're very happy to see you again, echoed her brother. Why do you always repeat what I say, said the sister to her brother. It's so annoying. I was just backing you up. Let me do the talking. Fine, you don't have to be so mean about it. The bickering bears were interrupted by the robot's friendly voice. With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking? How rude of us, said Sister Bear. My name is Nettle, and this is my little brother, Thorn. I'm not little, snapped Thorn under his breath. It's lovely to meet you both, said Roz, but I'm afraid I really must be going. Ha! And I'm afraid I can't let you do that, said Nettle. She stepped into Roz's path. My brother and I, you see, we don't like monsters. I'm not a monster. I'm a robot. Whatever you are, we don't like you, said Thorn. We hear you've become very comfortable on our island, said Nettle. Now we're going to make you very uncomfortable. Yeah, we're going to make you very uncomfortable. Stop repeating me, Thorn. Poor Roz was in serious trouble. These bears were closing in on her, but she couldn't run, she couldn't hide, and she couldn't fight. The robot didn't know what to do, but before she could do anything, there was a loud squawk and a streak of feathers. Stay away from my mama! Brightbill swooped down and skidded to a stop between the robot and the bears. So the rumors are true, Nettle laughed. There really is a runty Gosling who thinks a robot is his mother. How silly. Do yourself a favor, Gosling, and fly away before you get hurt. She is right, Brightbill, said Roz. Please let me handle this. But the Gosling stood his ground. He spread his wings and hopped around, ready to defend his mom. The bears roared with laughter. Then, with a flick of her paw, Nettle sent Brightbill tumbling on the ground, over and over, until he flopped onto his back and stared up at the sky, stunned. This is our island, snarled Nettle, and it's time for you to go, growled Thorn. Roz made herself as big as possible. She banged her chest and roared wild, angry sounds. But the bears weren't intimidated. They roared right back, and then they attacked. Nettle pulled Roz into a fierce bear hug while Thorn clawed at her legs. The robot tried to shake free, but the bears wouldn't let go of their prey. Not this time. A cloud of dust bloomed as the trio thrashed closer to the edge of the cliff. All of a sudden, something burst out from the trees and onto the open cliff. Mother Bear. She was gigantic, like a mountain of golden fur, and she was furious. It seemed like this could be the end for our robot. But Mother Bear wasn't there to join the fight. She was there to break it up. Nettle! Thorn! Get over here! This instant! The young bears should have listened to their mother. Instead, they pretended not to hear her. Nettle slashed at Roz's body, and Thorn began wrestling with her foot. He grabbed the foot with both paws and forced it up from the ground. Then, with every ounce of his strength, he twisted her foot around. Reader, the following events happened so quickly. First, there was a strange thwip sound as the robot's right foot popped off her leg and went sailing through the air. Then everyone toppled over. Nettle and Roz fell sideways along the edge, but Thorn fell back and tumbled right off the cliff. Do you know what the most terrible sound in the world is? It's the howl of a mother bear as she watches her cub tumble off a cliff. Mother Bear's howl was so startling that it snapped Brightbill right out of his stupor. Her howl was so powerful that it shook Roz's whole body. Her howl was so loud that animals heard it clear across the island. But there was no reply from Thorn. Mother Bear's howl slowly faded, and she wilted to the ground. So wilting's like what flowers do, is you kind of sink down, crumble to the ground. So his mom is so sad because she thinks something terrible has happened to her baby cub. But let me show you. He might be okay. Roz watched as her detached foot sailed over the edge and plummeted down to the shore below. It fell past the seagulls, smashing off a rock, and disappeared into the waves. And that's when the robot noticed something furry dangling from the cliff. Thorn! His full weight hung from the tree and was rooted to the rock wall. He gripped the tree tightly in his jaws and looked up at Roz with wide, frightened eyes. "I see Thorn!" shouted Roz. "Grab my legs, quickly!" Mother Bear and Nettle scrambled to their feet. Each bear took a leg in her mouth. And together they slowly lowered Roz head first down the cliff. Thorn whimpered through clenched teeth as he watched the robot approach. Then he felt her strong arms wrap around him and heard her booming voice holler, "Pull us up!" Thorn let go of the branch and cried, "Please don't drop me, Roz, please." "Do not worry," said the robot. "I will not drop you." The next few moments seemed to drag on. Mother Bear and Nettle kept pulling on Roz's legs, and the more of the robot slowly came into view until a furry golden head finally appeared, and Thorn leaped into the embrace of his family. So I'm going to pause there, reader. Sorry, that was a long one, but had a happy ending, right? Thorn is okay, but this kind of speaks more about Roz's character than anything else. Thorn and Nettle tried to attack her. They took her foot off, right? And after all that, she still acted in a certain way. So our question will be around Roz's character, and then I'll probably add on a second question to ask you as well. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. All is well and peaceful. Excellent. I'll see you guys next time.